Believe so.
Already. Believe capably quieter.
Right. Now let me post a link. So
Yo,
people,
you gotta post it. People don't like me.
I've learned the hard way that when people see Maximilian Fax or the Frozen Need, they don't pay too much credence. That
Even
thumb,
though
look at that thumbnail. Like it is, like offensively nothing but feet. Ooh. All right. But this at everyone streaming. Shit. YouTube. Oh, there it is. Live chat. Easy stuff.
that's right.
So anyway, tonight is going to be the Elden Ring foot tier list. This will be at least less than an hour because both me and Yeet's editing software cannot handle it, so all of you enjoy it. This is going to be only Elden Ring feet, and they have some parameters because there are a lot of barefooted enemies, characters, NPCs, everything else in Elden Ring, so we have some parameters. The main focus of this are the Miyazaki feet. Barefooted woman, big women, and women that have unnecessarily bare feet, right? There are a few men that have made this list, but it's only if they have really unnecessarily detailed feet, or like in Morgoth's case, for example, a zoom in on the feet. But for the most part, these are the bare female feet of Elden Ring. There are a lot of stuff like the gargoyles and dragons and this and that we could have went with, but we're not doing that. We want to keep this on what Miyazaki is really into. Like in the past Souls games with like Priscilla, Guinevere, Freda, you know, Yusefka from Bloodborne, stuff like that. We're trying to keep with that same sort of theme. There are a few outliers, but for the most part, that's what we're going to stick with here. We're doing this on YouTube so that you guys can actually have an input because most of you don't follow me on Twitch, and if you do, you don't actually watch. So, we're going to be doing this on YouTube to have a bit of a, to have a bit more of an active comment section to have you guys' input.
Yes.
So, but yeah, this is going to be the food tier list. I hope all of you are having a good afternoon. We're going to go ahead and get started. The first couple that we're going to do are the two that I posted down here to sort of get like a feel for how this tier list maker works. The way this is going to work is I'm gonna take a picture, slide it over here. You're going to see a huge preview to really let you get a feel for what we're rating. I'll shrink it and then go somewhere on the tier list. Sound good? Good.
Yeah.
So, first up, I guess, we'll do the Haligtree statues. These are...
About to make me act up.
Haligtree statue got me acting unwise. The Haligtree statues are these really thick female statues with really unnecessarily detailed feet. Like, they had no reason, you can't see because it's not really well blown up, but it's like an artist at From Software like wanted to rival the statue of David and just really put some work on these. So, what we're going to do is, and this is going to be how we kind of operate for the rest of this, is we're going to go like with the positives to bump them up, and then as we get up here, we'll start criticizing the things that we don't like about them. So they get some points for, you know, bare female feet. They're
Detail.
They get high detail.
Statues are thick.
Yeah,
Statues
that doesn't really have a whole lot of bearing on the foot. We're trying to be really unbiased. We're trying to be professionals here.
Well, the feet are plump, so
If they were real, they would be soft and pliable.
But they're not. They're made of straight.
Yeah,
they're made of straight marble.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so starting from
They'll always be cool to the touch.
starting from the bottom, we have the fact that it's a barefooted woman that gets a bump up. It's not really unnecessary because you see that in a lot of artwork of humans, so I can't give it the unnecessary thing. It doesn't.
It's been a theme throughout the series.
Yeah, it's been a theme. It doesn't get like the big lady aspect. They are unnecessarily detailed though, so they're gonna get another bump up for that, putting them up to D tier. And I think
there
that
are some plump stompers.
Yeah, but I don't think they can go above D tier because they're not real, they're not animated, they're not really unnecessary or stupid, and they don't really catch your eye unless you're a true From Software fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like D's fair enough. Even you could argue the case you could go in E, just deduct 2 points simply because it's a
It's not.
statue.
Yeah, it's not real.
So I feel like E tier is probably it's the better option just for that reason.
For right now, we're gonna leave it D. But what are you guys in chat thinking? D or E tier for the Hallowed Tree statues? They're really detailed. They are female feet, but they're not unnecessary. They don't have like a cutscene all about them, and they're just not strange or unnecessary. So I'm thinking D tier.
Gotta
So
say E, man. Just gotta say E. The fact that they're not real just drags it down so far for me.
I
so
was gonna say they're easier to look at though than regular feet, which would be on the ground. You gotta use the camera angles, look at them. These you can just look straight at them.
that's
Yeah,
true. There's
you
like
do have a point there.
there's like ease of access. Like it's right the player's face. You can see them. They're convenient.
And they're not dirty
So
either.
with that,
So
they would be
that's
D tier.
yeah. You know what? You convinced me. D tier, just for that reason.
All
They're
right.
at eye level for the connoisseur of the feet.
For the nasty man of the group.
I'm thinking D tier because of something that Isaac said. He said they go in D because they put so much effort into them and almost no one will focus on them. Well, you say that, but you gotta remember, we found it.
Yeah, I mean, that was like the first thing I saw when I did my first invasion. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, what my very first invasion, Halleck Tree, I think I was like facing them and I was like, my god, look at the toes on that thing, you know, so.
Or if you look at the pyro intro on mine, it literally zoomed in on him.
Yeah, so I'm thinking D tier. Alright, so Halleck Tree statue, D tier. Next up, this is Fia, aka the Sleep Maiden. And this one I think is gonna be higher up than that. These, if you don't know, are the chick that gives out the free hugs and gives you a debuff. Now, to start her off, I must say, like, they're not really unnecessary because she is like a bedside maiden. Like, she's gonna be in bed, so
Wearing robes and shit.
so that's she doesn't have the unnecessary. She's not very big. It's not like the Miyazaki gigantus thing that he likes.
They
But
are hyper realistic.
but they are like hyper realistic. Like for some reason, the bottoms of these are more realistic than any other part of the body. Like the face, still a little uncanny because technology's not there. The legs and arms and hands, even the hands, not really all that detailed. But the bottoms of the feet, they have like actual patches of skin that are more red than like the middle. It's kind of nuts. Yeah, she's got like the detail factor. They're not dirty, but yeah, I think that keeps her E tier.
But what's the ease of access though? I mean, I'm pretty sure you have to actually advance her quest line to be able to see them from this angle. So honestly, I feel like that kind of hinders her.
Yeah, but then like I think besides that, she has like the waifu factor going for her because a lot like the statue, like the statue doesn't have like no one's out here simping for the Halle Tree statue besides maybe like Max. But Fia, I feel like she has a lot of artwork and there's a lot of buzz. She's got she's actually an NPC that gives you a hug. So I mean,
slap it up to B, at least B.
So
just for that reason.
I would say her being.
So maybe B.
Yeah, I was thinking B.
Have not scalped anyone before.
Let's see. Hugs and feet. Miyazaki designed that character personally. That changes things. We were more likely to see her less clothed at one point because she wears custom underwear specifically for her. That's true. I mean, that's true. I mean, the what are they called? The deathbed smalls. That's right. So she was most likely. And she was meant to be wearing a G-string at some point. So
she's supposed to be wearing
Bump it up.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, we're here to rate the feet. Like, there are other aspects that can come into affect it, but it's really about, that's not about what the rest of what she's wearing.
Fuck, you're right.
I think I would bump her down to C just for all the things she lacks. But as I look at it, I think, like, they could have made her dress to cover it, but they didn't, So I'm thinking B tier, pretty solid for just for the waifu factor, and they're so high. It's the waifu factor and how highly detailed they are. That's really what's keeping her up in B tier. Otherwise, she'd be like C.
And there's another thing that bothers me. So you know how in Godfrey's, Godfrey, Godfrey. Oh, that's all nasty, dirty with all like the death and decay, and her feet are fucking pristine.
That's true.
How the fuck does that work?
She's got her Simpson licking her feet.
You know what? You're right.
You only have to get down on your knees to reach him when she's sitting on that spot.
Alright, so we've had the Howling Tree statue, we've had Fiat. Now I think it's time for a bit of a curveball. We're gonna go with the Demi-Human Queen. Now, like I said, this is the first one you guys are gonna see me pulling over. You're gonna get this really big view to start off with before I shrink them. Because I have...
Nobody.
Yeah, I got like... Maybe like right...
Now, are they prehensile is the question.
She's got like...
It's like monkey toes.
It's like possum feet or something. Okay, so we have Demi-Human Queen. Now, the Demi-Human Queen has a few things going for her, but a lot they're not. Like, for one thing, they look more like gorilla silverback hands than actual feet.
Like a thumb growing out of her big toe.
And they're not overly detailed. Like, they have some detail, but not as much as the Howling Tree statue or Fia, right?
Yeah.
But you can see, like, veins and joints and shit.
So, like, they're detailed, but not that detailed. So she doesn't have that going for her. What she does have going is it's a big woman. So she's got that going for her.
That's true.
She's like a furry, which is another thing that like we like to bring in other aspects. You know, like with Priscilla, we talked about like the scalies and stuff. So she's got that going for her. So she has the big woman. She's got the furry aspects. That puts her up to D. And her name is actually like Queen. Like she has an army of simps. Her name is Demi Queen, right?
She is royalty technically,
yeah.
So they are royal grade feet.
Yeah.
But does that really add to it since the Sims
They are bottom royalty. They are still royal.
Royal tier feet. Oh god. Yeah, so like I'm putting her up to C just off of like the merits. We got like the big woman. We've got the we got like the furry aspect of it. We have like the simps. But I'm gonna probably knock her back down a notch because they do look like hands. So
that definitely subtracts from it.
They look like hands. And I don't know. I feel like since they don't really have the same form of foot like that Miyazaki likes, you know, the stuff that like Miyazaki has like a, you know, the custom made pocket pussy that Max was talking about. It's not what Miyazaki likes. Like Miyazaki has visions in his sleep, and this isn't one of them. This is something someone else made. So
it's probably like his right hand man who's secretly a furry.
I'm thinking E tier.
You know what? I gotta agree with you on that because I just can't see anything going for it.
I'm thinking E tier for the Demi-Human Queen. What does chat think? That's a monkey wolf woman. The toenails are absolutely filthy. Gorilla grip foot job. Thing is,
out here wildin'.
Thing is, if a dude is into it, they can crush a melon with it. Yeah, but like, it's like that's like the big woman thing. But that's really all she's got going for the most part. Is the weird factor, the furry factor, and big woman because you know it's a female. And then and she has like the slight thing coming in with like all of her sims being a part of her lore. It's the same thing with Fia. Fia is way up on B tier because of the whole, you know, she's the hug maiden, you know, the waifu factor. Like the Howling Tree statue and the Demi Queen don't have that going for them. You're not going to see artwork of the Demi-Human Queen or the Howling Tree statue. Fia, there is, you know. So I'm thinking Demi-Human Queen E tier, solid. So Fia B, Howling Tree D, and then Demi-Human Queen E. Now, since we have that going, we're going to bring in another more normal kind of selection. That's going to be one that most of you guys probably wouldn't have even thought about, because I didn't think about this until I was looking it up.
Biggest curveball of all.
As Horalu's daughter's feet. There's the picture. What's her name again?
Nefeli Lu.
Yeah, Nefeli Lu. Sounds like a redneck name, like a chick that you would get, like you'd hook up with in West Virginia or something. Nefeli Lu.
Brother's also her cousin.
Nefeli Lu. Get back in here, Nefeli Lu.
Nefeli Lu, quit kissing your brother.
Quit kissing your brother. Get up here and help your meme. I'll put the paint on the porch. If any of you know what that is, that's a little bonus. If anyone knows, if any of you know what a haint is, then you're doing pretty good. But anyway, Nefeli Lu, really obscure choice. I think she gets a bump up just for being such an out-of-pocket choice, right?
Yeah, and she's also like buff woman, barbarian lady.
That's true. She has like the muscle babe factor going for her. I won't give her the overly detailed thing though, because they are like mostly covered, and I didn't even know that she had bare feet. I didn't even
They're
know.
kind of dirty.
I didn't know they're not overly detailed, and they're not unnecessary because she is a barbarian. So we can't give it like the Miyazaki unnecessary seal of approval, you know, like for instance, like Lady Freda being in the ice cold and having bare feet, like doesn't have that going for her. It
More
makes
accurate.
sense.
The fucking frozen tundra, just barefooted as hell. Wonder what the frostbite's like.
Yeah, so like I'm not gonna say that's unnecessary. They're not overly detailed. She does have muscle babe, but not big woman, so it's not quite the same. And she does really have like a really big following. I don't think I've seen anything talking about the character because you can really easily miss her quest line.
You're
So
gonna find her in one obscure ass room in Stormville Castle, and if you don't find her there, she's gone for the rest of the game.
yeah, so yeah, I think D tier.
I'm gonna say D,
I
but
would.
I don't know though. They are kind of dirty, so you gotta can you bump it up for that?
All right, so here's what I'm gonna say, chat. Do we give it D just off of the merits we've talked about, or we boost it up to C for like the exotic factor because you don't see it very often and the dirtiness, or do we keep it at D? What are we thinking? This is very important. We have to be very professional.
God,
We have to be really concise. You know, like the whole world's watching. Oh, Jesus Christ! There's 27 people. there's like 30 people watching.
oh,
We have to get this right.
oh, I hope and I pray to fucking God no one from my work sees this.
The reps, it's partially covered. Their player model feed. I've seen porn of her. Hmm.
Descendant of the great foot stomper. Hey, that's a good point.
That's good. She could stomp someone's nuts out. D for dirty. Keep it D.
You're all uncultured. I hate you.
Imagine those souls smashing down the grass. She screams. It's looking like D tier. I'm sorry to say,
Man.
it's looking like D tier. I see some people saying C. Yeah, I'm thinking D tier right here with the Howling Tree statue. All right, solid. Now we've had some pretty mid selections so far with the Demi-Human Queen, Howling Tree Feet, Lou, and then Fia was probably the heaviest. But this time I'm actually bring in a really hard hitting one. This one's gonna be pretty far up there. This one's kind of a big deal. This is the large albinaric woman. You can find her in the far northwest corner of Snowfield. Now she, I suspect, is going to be very high up for several. She hits a lot of the tickets that stuff like this requires. Like, they don't look like much in this picture, but I'll explain.
Big woman with the big feet.
I'm glad your mic cut out. So this is the large albinaric woman. She is literally just a scaled up version of the tiny albinaric archers that shoot you and ride wolves. However, she has a lot of stuff going for her. Like, those women have something going on. Like, that's going to be something entirely here in a little bit. But number one, she's got the big woman factor,
Big
right?
woman.
That's number one.
Unnecessary.
It's unnecessary because she's in the cold. And I've seen some people try to twist it like, well, she's in the frozen tundra, so if you think about it, she really doesn't need to. No, you don't see handicapped people going outside in the wintertime with bare feet because they can't feel their feet. No, they get frostbite. They still wear shoes. So that's how. That's
You still
I
you
still
still
keep my
get
arm-
frostbite.
I still cover my arm in the cold because you will lose a lot of body heat through.
Exactly. And you lose a lot of your body heat through your feet.
so that goes right out. Does she have anything important for the game? She has a really obscure role in Latina or Latina, however you say her name. The other albinaric chick that you find next to Lobo the wolf in a really obscure part of the map past a dungeon. Most people never even see her, but she's a part of that quest line. But it's just incredibly unnecessary that she has to be out there. And she doesn't really play much of a role. And I'm thinking, based off of some of these other merits, I'm like thinking at least B tier. Because these feet, her feet are about as big as the player model. Like, you can't tell it in this picture, but they are immense. I remember seeing it, I was like, Miyazaki. Miyazaki, come on.
You're the person we
Come
need.
on.
The big woman with the big feet.
I was just thinking, like, I was like, come on, dude, this is just a scaled up version of another player mod. Like, it was already really dumb that there were barefooted women in the snow as it was. You know, like, it didn't make any sense to me, but then he just scaled one up. He's like, well, I have some big feet in there somewhere.
They ain't got the big feet. I will make the big feet.
Mm,
I gotta say A just because like I mean look at them. They're fucking huge.
I'm thinking she gets A tier because, like for one thing, I think big women should get 2 already. The unnecessary factor, they are so unnecessary. I think there's like 2 layers of it. And just how small of a role she plays, and the fact it's literally just another upscale model, I think it should go up to A. The only reason I wouldn't put her at S is because they're not very detailed. Like they have some detail on them, right? Like I'll blow it up one more time. Like there are veins and stuff, but there's not a lot of detail. There's not a lot of detail there. So I'm thinking because of that feature, the fact that they didn't go really hard in the paint like they did with Fia's, for example, or the Haligtree statue, I think that keeps her from being S tier and she goes A tier.
You know what? I'm okay with that.
A tier.
Yeah. I would say S, but you make a good point. You make a good case.
Alright, it looks like the chat's pretty agreeable on that. So A tier for the Albinaric sister, B for Fia, D Haligtree and Lu, and E for the Demi Queen. Alright, so following up with, since we just did an Albinaric one, we're gonna do another one. This is both Latina, Latin, or however you say her name, and all of the rest of the Albinaric archers. They all have these bare feet. They're literally just the regular size version of this chick.
Put it 1 below for the well actually put it 2 below because actually no. Yeah, they're not as big. Put it in C.
This is
For
dumb.
that reason alone.
But neat fact: if you summon the Ash one that you can get near Wolf, she'll jump on the Wolf and ride it.
Yeah, that's really cool, Max, but has absolutely no bearing on this foot fetish thing we're talking about.
That's cool or whatever, but how does it affect her feet?
Yeah, this.
It unfortunately makes it so you can't see their feet as well. So I would say it bumps it down even further.
Well, I mean, that's the ash. That's the ash. We're not looking at the ash. We're looking at like the actual NPC. So I
Well,
mean, these are 2 different things entirely, my man.
You can't really look at their feet because they're shooting you with fucking arrows.
You can look at this one's feet because it's literally just they're there. They're laying on the ground for you to look at, for all the world to behold.
Alright, so I'm thinking since they're not as big, like I think they lose 2 tiers because they have everything the other model has. They have everything. This has the same amount of detail, the same amount of unnecessariness, because most of these chicks are in the frozen tundra. I think she's the only one that you find like down south. So I think keeping that in mind, and they also don't really have any reason to be barefoot, they're gonna be the same as this, but 2 tiers beneath in C tier. That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
They are still pretty. They're still pretty mediocre, but I think they're just barely a cut above D tier. Not by much, keep in mind.
They still, they're still alright. But C.
Alright.
C for average.
Alright, so I'm thinking C. It looks like chat mostly agrees with that. Alright, next up we're gonna go with another sort of like an obscure type thing, and that is the giant chick's feet in, I think it's Noxtella. Yeah, Noxtella.
Like
the dragon king. Yeah, the dragon kid warrior. These would be really, really high tier, but they have a lot of stuff holding them back. And I do.
Numero uno. She's dead.
Yeah, so we're gonna look at the positives first, right? We're gonna like this. That's how we roll. We go with the positive things, and then we criticize it and tear it down. Just like
sheer size factor, 3 fucking tiers.
Yeah, it's like this. I was talking a little bit with we were kind of like planning this out, right? Just for the sheer, these might be the biggest bare female feet in any Souls game. They are like the size of a semi truck is ridiculous, right? So just for the sheer side, like they're gonna go up to C, and they have another little thing bumping them up. They're really detailed, and they have that little ankle bracelet type thing on both of these, right? So they have that. They have that going for them. They have detail, size factor, but they don't. They're not unnecessary because it is like a priestess or whatever, and she's sitting in a chair, so makes sense. She might not have shoes on, and she's so big. Like, what's gonna hurt her feet?
Exactly. I mean, she might step on a dragonkin or something, but
like might like step on a dead knight or like a knight or something. Like, oh, damn! I stepped on other Godric knight.
There's a Flamberg in my foot.
However, since she is dead, and they are like decomposing and not the pristine thing that we would want like over here, I'd say she loses 2 tiers.
I can agree with that. I would argue 3 tiers, honestly.
They're jerky.
I would say C or a strong D tier. What is Chad thinking about? Because we have to, like, the main thing if this was like a regular sized NPC or a half the size NPC that it is, it wouldn't be so high up. It would easily be like down there with the demi human. But it's just that they are so immense, and they have those like anklet things. Whoa, big woman.
That woman is big.
So yeah, what are we thinking? What are we thinking, chat? D, C for crusty, F. I'm done with all of you trying to put like a letter. I get that it's cute. You guys learn how to put certain shapes in the certain holes in kindergarten. I get it. I get that. C is for crusty. F is for fugly.
D is for dead.
B is for the bitches you don't get. I get it.
Man, L is what you just took.
But if she was alive, S tier. If she was alive, S tier. Absolutely.
We could fight her. If she had a stomping attack, she wouldn't even be on the chart. She would be above S tier. She'd be S tier.
She would be triple S. If she was alive, she would be triple S tier. And if she had a boss fight where she had like a stomp attack, which she would, triple S. But it's not how stuff played out.
Nope, we got robbed.
It's A, solid C. They have her step in the Euro stuff. Biggest in the series, it deserves some more respect. And I think the Dill Pickle said like F several times over. Someone has, yeah. But now we're not gonna give it all the way down on F tier just for that, because it does deserve some respect for being the biggest in the series so far. I think up until this point, it was Guinevere, but this is actually big.
It's definitely
Guinevere. Minor negatives. Her whole ass being a decomposing corpse is a minor negative to you. I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a necrophile in the chat.
Like this is what we're thinking. Like if she was alive, it would at least be S tier. However, she's not. Like for one thing, there's no animations, there's no boss fight, there's nothing going on with it. So here, and I think it loses 2 tiers because of the decomposing flesh. Like this is not what Miyazaki like. Miyazaki's vision includes these. These are the pinnacle of his design. This is close. However, there are these skeletal ass toes and flesh falling out. It's C tier. To me, it's got to be C tier.
Yeah, I'd still say D.
I understand where you guys are coming from that say like A tier, but I can't look at these and think it's an A tier. It's not an A tier foot. I can't do it.
I prefer my feet smell like feet, not like decaying corpse.
Sometimes that's one the same, Max. Alright, so we went with another that was probably the most controversial one so far.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have like some foot fetishes show up at my fucking door.
So next up,
mail me a pipe bomb just because I put his waifu in the wrong tier.
I'm thinking, so for this next up one, this is gonna be another controversial one. We're gonna go with Ronnie. Believe it or not, Ronnie does have feet, but you're not gonna like him. They're like these little stubs of yarn, where she might not even have. They might have been like heels or shoes, because she's meant to be a doll,
Like the porcelain broke off as she was walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like she doesn't have toes. This honestly, she's also all right. So we got to consider a couple of things first. I want to look at the positives first on here, but they're just few and far in between. The negatives outweigh the positives just infinitely. Like, what's she got going for her? She's got the waifu factor. That's one.
I think it being Ronnie though, because that's like the waifu for this game, I think she gets like, I would say at least 2 tiers for the waifu factor.
Yeah,
Just
but then
because,
yeah,
just for the sheer factor that she is like so well known and renowned, I think she gets 2 tiers off of that. But we gotta look at it objectively from the Miyazaki standpoint. It's really not even a foot. It's like a stub of what used to be.
well, I think she's still got the feet. It's just she doesn't have toes. And I mean, honestly, like that's just
I mean, it's kind of a turn off.
yeah, it's a huge turn off, man. Like, and I mean, look at them. Look how small they are, bro.
It'd be like looking at my hand and thinking, "Yeah, that's the kind of hand I want touching me."
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I'm thinking for Ronnie.
Oh, and she's dead. She's dead too.
That's true. I'm thinking like her waifu factor is so strong it keeps her above maybe F tier, maybe E, but it's not a strong E. I would say it's actually worse than the demi-human queen, and that's saying something. So let's see what the chat thinks.
No, I just thought of something. Ronnie could be on there twice because you could go take a picture of her corpse's feet too.
Great.
That is her corpse.
It's on top of that one tower.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you got to get the half of the death rune off of it.
That's true. That's true. Hmm.
I'm
I
thinking.
don't know though.
Who else can you say is barefoot in the same game with 2 different character models?
Yeah.
I'm thinking just for the waifu factor, because like it's like people are saying there's basically almost no foot here. So it's either gotta be F. She might be the first F tier, or it's gonna be E.
I gotta say F, man. It's
I'd
literally not even a foot.
Yeah. I don't want to be reminded of my arm when I look at a foot.
I don't want to be
Mm,
reminded of my own ailment when I look at a video game character's feet.
Exactly.
all right. It looks like most of the chat's thinking E, although I would personally say F. It's just because she has like the star child of this game that's keeping her at the F tier. That's it. That's the only reason that Ronnie is not going straight on down to F.
And everyone just disliked this fucking video.
Yep. Everyone's like, no, not my Ronnie. Jesus Christ. Which one of you did that? That sounded like a rush of like white water flying down a cavern. That was so loud.
I want to move my fucking mic away so it doesn't peak.
That was so incredibly loud for that's what it sounded like roaring white water flowing down a cavern and just hitting you, so the sound just ends immediately.
They won't let me do it. Discord will not let me do it.
I think chat's saying F, so I think by way of what the community thinks, we're gonna take it down to F.
This is justice.
Because I mean, like I see it, it's the only reason I wouldn't put it F is because of the waifu thing. Just because it's like, as far as that goes, she would be up in S tier, but we're talking about the feed.
Yep.
All right. Next up, since we went with a really like obvious one with Ronnie, we're gonna go with another obscure, and that's Rykard. Most of you probably don't know that Rykard even has one of these, but he 100% does. He absolutely does, and the main reason I consider, like, I normally I don't consider the dudes because Miyazaki doesn't care. But I'm looking at this, right? And look at the detail.
Like, dear God.
Like, I don't know if it's meant to be like a skinned like corpse type thing that's like the sheen of his flesh,
or if it is in lava,
or if it's meant to be like sweat, or if it's like lava and they're wet. Like I don't know what this is, but they are incredibly high detail. So Rykard is going to be, I think, actually the first dude to make it on here tonight.
You know what? And everyone's just saying S tier just simply for the detail. And honestly, I can agree with this. Also, he also gets points for obscurity.
Yes. Also,
All right.
one
So
rating back, I checked it. Ronnie doesn't. Her corpse doesn't have feet, so she didn't have feet twice.
all right. So
Wow. Yeah, Miyazaki didn't work on that character.
nope. All right. So it looks like most of the chat's saying S. I'm having a hard time disagreeing because you gotta look at it. It's big. You know, big feet. Really high detail. It's got the obscure factor. So I'm thinking Rykard's gonna be our first S tier tonight, just from the sheer virtue of the detail they put into that. And most people don't even know about it. Most people don't even like. I didn't know that he had that. I didn't realize he didn't start until I started looking into it, and I found that he actually has one. And on top of that, I saw someone say something. He has a snake body, so the Scalies get something out of it.
That's true.
Serpent King will be on S tier.
My feet have something for everyone.
Hate it. Alright, so Rykard is our first S tier of the night.
I feel like, you know what? This is a win for equality.
I like that Chartra's put like an eBay customer review. Rykard has amazing feet. S tier. So nice. Great texture, great toes, great sexy shape. Positives far outweigh the negatives, even if they may be burned or he may be dead. S tier.
And then we got another one. You have to go out of your way to find a Rykard's feet. It's like looking for deep lore. Yes. Maybe, Luca, come on now. We believe in equality here. We don't take away for gender.
That's right, like we primarily do look for the females because that's what Miyazaki apparently like supervises when he's on the game. Like if you look at Dark Souls 2, there's not a lot of bare feet in Dark Souls 2. They are
If any, actually.
they're like I think we had to really look and it was like the Lost Dinner and that chick that you save. What's her,
Yeah, the pyro lady, fuck.
isn't it like Anastasia or something? I don't know.
It's fuck, I might have to look this up. This is gonna bother me.
Whatever her name is, there's only like two. There's not very many in DS2, and Miyazaki didn't have as much of a hand in that game. So, I mean, apparently this is what he supervises in the studio. Anyway, we went with like an obscure, really strong option. Now we're gonna go with an obscure, maybe slightly weaker. I don't know. You guys will have to tell me. This is the finger readers. And the main reason they're on here, they're not overly high detailed. And they're not that obscure because everyone can see them at any time. The main reason they're getting on here is because of the amount of detail they put into the animation of like their foot wrapping around the stave that they have.
That's honestly that's something we've never seen in the Soul series.
That's like stripper pole level of detail.
This is revolutionary for the foot industry.
That's right. Like we've had a lot, but we haven't had the feet like interacting. Usually they're just there, floating in the void, waiting for someone's tongue. This, they're active, they're proactive in their community, they're getting out there, they're doing things. It's got an animation. So I'm thinking just for that being a breakthrough, we're gonna go up to like 2 tiers. But they're not highly detailed. It's not a big lady. It makes sense because they're these little old ladies that read fortunes. They don't need to have shoes. So they're not really, there's really nothing going for them besides just the fact that they have that animation and it's a female foot. That's all they have. That's all they have going for them. So, yeah, see, this is what I'm thinking. D tier, right? Are we think? I think it's just the uniqueness of them that keeps them at D tier. Still better than Demi Queen and definitely better than Ronnie, but not quite like they don't have any really
old lady feet.
They don't have anything going for them like the gargantuan factor for this, the sheer unnecessariness of these, the detail of these, all that combined for this and this. They really just don't have it. So, thinking D tier, solid D tier. D tier. Yeah. Alright. Let's see. So we had more of an obscure thing. Now we're going to go with a pretty popular one. This is a fairly well-known one, and that is Renala.
Sorry, couldn't contain myself.
Couldn't contain. Almost lost my cool there. These are Renalas. Renala gets a lot of points for several things. For one thing, they are immense. She has
fucking flippers, dude.
She has some massive. I think 3 tiers up just for the fact that they are like the actual size of the player. I don't know how many of you have actually like looked at Renala, but she is really unproportioned. Like her head, she has like a little tiny pinhead. She's got these massive man hands and feet, and like a really broad chest. Like she looks weird.
She's Peggy Hill.
It's just she's got like this really strange sort of. I don't know. Her proportions are not right, but I think she goes up to here just for that. The detail factor I think puts her up another two because they are almost at, like not quite on Fia's level. Fia's have like this 4K texture,
and she can put them on you if you knock her out of the air and she lands on you, or for you to land on you.
You know what?
And you could touch them. Your character could touch them by slapping them, but I mean, still, you're touching them. You can interact with these feet because she's a boss.
So we're thinking the interactive factor, the size, the texture work. I'm you know what? I'm thinking maybe S tier.
I'm thinking S. It's got to be S.
All right, enough rating. Time for the taste test.
Okay.
It tastes like feet. I wouldn't know what I wouldn't know what they taste like, of course, but not me. No, feet are disgusting.
Enough of the foot rating. It's time for the taste test.
I'm going to fart on the mic.
Hey, Renala, yeah. Bring out your feet. Let's see, you have to go to her to respec, so anytime you want to change your stats, you have to see those.
That's true.
I want mind A tier. S for step on me, not S.
This is true.
You see her feet. You see her feet more than the other characters. She's S tier.
She's Rosaria 2.0.
And then Mike coming in with a really hard-hitting statement. God, I wish feet could fart.
We'll go up to the next girl I see at work. Go, ma'am, do your feet fart? Then HR will be giving me a call.
This picture also really doesn't do them justice. They look a lot more I don't know what this picture, like how they took it, but in her idle animation, when you go to her for respecing your level, they have a lot more of a pose, sort of like Fia's right here. I don't know what they did to get this picture, if they just like knocked her down during the boss fight.
What it looks like, I think you can kind of see her arm in like the top right of the picture, like slumped over.
So like we're thinking S or high A.
For me, it's S. I mean, 2 of the boys say S. Skid says S. Most of the chat says S. It's S.
I'm seeing like a lot of discourse between A, like high A or S.
Alright, simply type what letter you think it should go on.
Yeah,
that'll clear it up a lot.
I don't need any of your
just S.
I don't need any explanations, anecdotes, family stories, or folk tales. I just need a letter.
Personal experiences.
S. Personal experiences. Man. I'm seeing a lot of S.
The fact that you can go back and enjoy them anytime you want.
That's true. That's I think Strider brought that up. It's a good point. Alright, yeah, S. Overwhelming S. Like, they're not on Riker's level, obviously. At least not in this picture, but they're...
I feel like Riker should have his own tier.
Riker tier. Yeah, she's going up there. She's going with S. Alright, so we've had some really hard-hitting ones. Next up, we're gonna go with... I think one that'll be pretty easy. We're gonna go with the Celibates, or the... It's the chicks that dance at the Windmill Village.
Cult women.
The weird cannibal ladies.
I call them the flower children, but they're not. They're like old women. I think this one's pretty easy. I think it's a really low tier.
Yeah, I think it's C, honestly. But you also got the obscurity factor. You have they're fucking disgusting. Not as bad as like Blue Point's remake of Demon Souls level, but I mean, they're
I'm,
still kind of dirty.
I
They're
don't
not too detailed, but still.
I don't think they're C, just because you don't see them because they're under the dress. They're not huge. They're not overly detailed. They make sense because they're dancing outside. They're like frolicking outside in the fields with flowers, so they make sense. The only thing they really have going for them is that they are female feet. You don't see them. They're not part of any attack. I mean, I like they're on this list, like they're on the council, but they don't have the rank of master. I'm thinking, I'm thinking F tier myself. I just don't think they have that much going for them. They're not really like dirty. They don't have any dirt. It's just their skin tone, because there's not that much detail.
Yeah, that's true. They are kind of like madness afflicted.
They are
Yeah.
crazy cannibal ladies.
Yeah, you know what? You've convinced me. Oh, I don't think it should be down there with Ronnie though. I think it should be above Ronnie because they're still feet. They're actually feet. So I'm thinking
They're
like
not fake feet.
yeah,
All
I
right,
think they should be E tier.
we're thinking E tier. I still don't think it has like Demi Human Queen beaten, because the Demi Human Queen has the big facts. They have something going for them. This really doesn't have much, so I'm thinking E. You know, like it. I'm thinking like any port in a storm. You know, like it is afoot, but you know, we think a lot alike. Skid. That's not a good thing.
Oh god.
All right, so we went with an obscure one. I think it's about time we bring another one of the boys on. We've been doing a lot of checks. I think it's time we bring one of the boys.
Oh god.
Nope, this is the fire giant.
Oh, you know what? I gotta say, man.
A tier.
A tier. Simply because the man rips his own foot off and drops a racial slur.
Alright, so we got the fire giant on, and we have a couple things to think about. He's not a chick. He doesn't have the classic From Software like philosophy about all this. But you do spend almost the entire fight staring at his really high detailed feet. And he does rip it off and like sacrifice it to Miyazaki-san, you know. So I'm thinking, like, because he's big, he's not a big woman, he's just big, so that's one tier up. They're really highly detailed, so you get another tier up. He has a cutscene all about ripping his foot off and sacrificing it to Miyazaki, so I think that's another tier up. You spend most of the boss fight staring right at them, so you can't get away from so. Up here, I'm thinking B tier.
Man, I gotta say, because he attacks with them.
That's true.
He puts them on you.
They are a literal force of nature that you cannot escape.
That's true.
A tier. S because they squish me and that's why I look forward to foot. Alright, it's looking like you guys are with A, and the chat's with A. I personally think B, because I just don't know if they have what this has. I don't want to put them above Fia, but I do think they have more, like, Fias really are just up here purely because of the detail, right? That's pretty much the sole reason that Fia's at B. So we have to look at all the other stuff, so I'm gonna put it A. I don't completely agree with it, but I do think A tier for the fire giant.
Yeah.
Alright. I think all of chat agreed this time. Alright, so we went with fire giant. So next up we're gonna go with a bit of a weird choice this time. This is technically a female, but this is another weird one. There might be some discourse over this. This is the Latin singing vampire chicks from the cliffs around the Atlas Plateau.
Ooh. Ooh.
This would be one for the furries in chat, I guess. This is like, alright, so we're gonna like go ahead and put them down here. Let me size it. Like, we have to look at a few things. Like, they are female, right? They are bigger than the players, so they have like a little bit of the big woman thing. Maybe just eke them up.
I'd say those two things together just add to one tier.
Yeah. They sing in Latin, so you have like some musical accompaniment while you're staring at them.
They can grab you with them.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There is a grab attack featuring these things. So you do get to interact with them pretty heavily, more so than pretty much anything else at E or D or even C tier.
Hmm. But they are. We also gotta look at the negatives here. So you see, first of all, they're kind of mangled as fuck.
They're kind of
It's
pointy.
got grip,
They're
but
also
not that much.
talons more than feet. But then again, I guess it kind of adds to it because the furry factor. I mean,
All right, so here's what
yeah.
here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're female, they have a grab attack, and they are slightly bigger than the player. I think all of that combined puts them at E tier with the demi-human queen. I still don't think they're as bad as Ronnie, because Ronnie's are
I agree.
like the resin in the bottom of the barrel. So I'm thinking that we're gonna keep them at E tier. What's chat thinking about E tier? I saw some people saying F, but I don't think we could do them dirty like that. Like, if we were gonna put these at F, we would have to put the demi-human queen, because all demi-human queen has going is it's female and they're big. So if we were gonna put the vampiric, like Latin singing vampire ladies with the grab attack and the size factor, if we are gonna put that at F tier, we have to put the demi queen at F tier. We would have to re-rate.
Even then, F tier is simply fake feet. So, and those are technically feet. They're still feet there. So they're better than Ronnie. They've already got that going for them.
Yeah, because Ronnie doesn't have workable toes that will grab you.
Exactly. Let's get one of your fucking. This is someone's first stream.
Whoa, first stream. How's it going?
I'm so sorry.
Welcome to the Foot Tier List, Lucy. We are objectively rating all of the feet in Miyazaki's latest masterwork, doing the Lord's work. We are out here rating the feet that Miyazaki crafted specially for all of us, and we just rated the vampiric woman so far. Starting from the bottom, at E tier we have Rani. F tier we have Rani. At E we have Demi-Human Queen, the celibate dancers outside the windmill village, the vampiric Latin singing women. At D tier we have the Howling Tree statues, Horalu's daughter, and the finger readers. At C we have the Albinaric archers, the giant female corpse in Noxtella. B we have Fia. A we have the giant Albinaric sister in the top northwest part of the mountains. Fire giant. In S we have, believe it or not, that's actually Rykard. We have Rykard and Renala.
So far, pretty choice selection for the top tiers.
Dude, System Clause added danger element. Exciting. Dude, I like whenever people put just random words after it that, like, it's like they're playing a word association, like fierce, exciting, dangerous. You know, right after.
Describe.
All these describe these feats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Use a word to describe these feet.
Fast,
alright.
Loose, smelly. These feet.
Alright, so with that, now we're gonna go up with a pretty regular option this time around. This time we're going with what's her name again? Selen. This is the female mage that teaches you how to cast sorcery. She eventually turns into like a giant ball of giant dad mass.
The giant ball of memes.
I'd say that puts her down a tier.
No. You can prevent that entirely.
You can prevent it. It's not like a foregone conclusion. Okay.
She's got the waifu factor.
Praise the feet. Alright, so this is what I'm thinking. Like, she's not gonna be F tier, because they are, like, this is the Miyazaki vision right here. Like, it's a foot, you know? I think just that factor alone, plus the fact that she doesn't need to be like, why are the wizards bare feet? Like, I know there's the whole they're more connected to the earth. That's BS. You mean to tell me like a half an inch of leather is keeping you from having the strongest connection to the earth? And the magic comes from the stars. It's like Max said. They cast celestial magic. They don't need to be in tune with the earth. They don't need to have their butt crystals aligned with their chakra and this and that. So, I think there's an unnecessary factor. I think it's just that they are pretty high detail female. It's just like the players.
Waifu.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a little bit of a waifu factor, which I don't think it's strong enough to hear to see, even though she's like really mean and a lot of guys like being talked down to. I don't.
I feel like that kind of adds to it.
Yeah, but I don't think it adds to it enough. I think it keeps her at D. I don't think she has enough going on to beat out
Ooh,
the Howling Tree statues or any of these other things.
she's also in the swamp with bare feet.
That
You
is
find her chained up in the swamp with bare feet.
you
A
find
poison.
So I mean,
you
a
f-
poison swamp, no less.
no, you find her in the wayside ruins, which is not a swamp. You can find her in a swamp way down the Weeping Peninsula, I think, but that's
Yeah.
not where she really is.
No, that's actually her real body
Yeah,
because
her
you
real
rip a
body's
crystal out
there.
of her chest.
Hmm,
Yeah, her fake body is the one you find in the Wayside Ruins.
Yeah,
that's true. Why does this match perfectly with how Heretic described you? Because I am the trash man.
the trash man with his trash friends.
I'm the trash man with trash friends that make trash content. Alright, so let's see what.
Honest to God, I feel like this is just the trashiest stream on YouTube.
This is probably the worst Elden Ring stream that's going right now. Maybe not the worst of all time. I'm sure there's been other things. But this has got to be up there. Okay, so anyway.
I'm really a part of this.
Shibby's down bad, so we're gonna disregard his S tier. B, no feet detailed. She has the naughty teacher going for it. She actually cares. A, she takes mineral baths.
You
Mm,
know what? B tier. I can agree with that.
C, nice look, turns a giant and good wife who clean but not dirty is also sexy. SM for giant dad. B, because those who don't like magic. Selin is just oversized Renala.
She's undersized, Renala.
That's true. That you know what? You're right.
You know what? I will bend a little bit. I don't really think she's all that much, really. But I will move her up to at least C tier. I'm willing to budge. I don't think she's like D tier with all this stuff we've considered with like the whole bad teacher, MILF, whatever, all this stuff with the detail. I think all the stuff we've talked about can move her up to maybe C, but I don't know about B. I really don't know. That this is a tough one for me.
That's in her quest line. She's an older lady, and then you put her in a younger body. So I guess that would put her at C tier because the feet are fresher.
That's true.
I'm thinking C just because they're kind of basic. Like, without all these other, like if we just look at the feet, like there's a lot. She's being hard carried by all these personality factors and the waifu factor. And if we couldn't let Ronnie get out of F tier with that, we can't let Selin get out of C tier. I'm thinking personally.
That's fair.
Personally,
They are the player model feet.
Personally, I think D, but I'm willing to go to C just because they are kind of unnecessary. I think it's the unnecessary factor, the fact that they are, I mean, it's just, they are what they are.
All the other mages in the college have boots on.
They do. I'm pretty sure they do.
They don't. They have gray, like really grayed out feet, like they're turning to stone. I'm gonna say C as well. Elden Ring boob tier list. What boobs? It's a Japanese game, and not like one of those Japanese games.
Yep.
All right. So, Selin C.
Oh, they do have feet.
I told you. Someone said they wanted to be caught up. Where is it? Yeah, Turks. So can you catch me up top to bottom? I can. Number one up here. I'm just gonna like run through them really quickly. Rykard, Renala, large Albinauric sister in the northwest part of the mountains. Fire giant, Fia. I don't know how to say it. Latina, whatever her name is. The giant dead priestess and Noxtella. Selin, Haligtree statues, Horalu's daughter, finger maidens, or the fingerprint readers, excuse me. The demi-human queens, the celibate dancers outside the windmill village, the vampire women, and then Ronnie. So there you go.
Oh, brother, we're cutting it kind of close. We've gone over an hour.
I'm just gonna have to say it to you, I guess.
All
right. So we've done a couple of, like we've done several chicks now, right? What have the last few ones been? Selin, Finger Maidens, the vampires. So I think it's time we bring another one of the boys, and this is probably the best boy. Maybe he might be. He's gonna be up there with Rykard. I feel we're bringing in Morgott.
Yeah, dude.
That's right. The real protagonist of Elden Ring has arrived. Morgott.
The realest fucking homie around.
We're bringing in Morgott. Now a lot of people won't think about Morgott as being high tier, but we'll talk about just a second. I see someone says, why are corpse figures C-rated? Because mostly
fucking huge.
Mostly this was carried up to C rank from the fact that these things are the biggest bare female feet in any Souls game yet. They are absolutely immense, they're highly detailed, they have the anklets at the top. They would be S tier if she was alive. Maybe triple S, because they are actually like the size of a semi-truck. But instead of being up here as if she were alive, that brought her down to here. So, that's why that's there. But anyway, back to Morgott, the really important stuff here. Morgott is going to be way up. Because for one thing, he has insanely detailed V, especially his cutscene model. I'm talking really high detail, up there with Rykard, probably.
It's like you're looking at them in real life.
So I'm going to bust those suckers up to C, and then I'm going to give him another 2 ranks just outright, because he has a zoom in. I think he is actually the only character in all of Elden Ring that has a cutscene. Some of you may remember some of the other characters throughout the series that have had that. Like, I think Priscilla, Sister Freda is the main one that I can think of off the top of my head.
Actually, Priscilla didn't have a cutscene.
No, never mind. But Freda has one, and they brought that back. Shut up. They brought that back with Morgott. So he gets like a really long zoom in on his big gnarled man feet. So up to A tier. I'm thinking S tier. Like
yep.
I just gotta say, cause it's Morgott, he's the realest homie that I wish we didn't have to kill in Elden Ring. I'm thinking S tier. So this is what I was talking about. Like, some of you were talking about like why are they not all female feet? If they are male feet, it's because they are heavy hitters. And it's Rykard, Morgott, Fire Giant. Like Mog didn't make it because technically he has them, but you can't see them. He has that
the big ass robe,
and they're like really low poly compared to his brother Morgott's. You can hear them. He uses those bad boys. That's true. He also stomps you during his boss fight.
Yep.
Detail plus.
We have more men in S tier than women.
That's yeah. Ninjas do it better.
Damn straight. Wait.
Amazing shape, perfect detail, interactive, and perfect looking. He's like, wait a minute.
That was kind of gay.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Right.
Hey, I got socks on. We good.
As long as we all have our socks on, we're okay.
I don't game without them.
I don't actually, like, if any of you have ever been on any of my streams or watched any gameplay clips of me and my friends, I am never without socks. It's like a tradition. It started off as a joke, and now I actually feel like self-conscious if I don't have socks on when I game. It's like my followers will sense it.
Can't say such shit.
Okay. So anyway, Morgott, S tier. Easy, chat's pretty concise and really united about it. Everyone in this call is united about it. S tier. Alright, so let's see, what have we not done? I see one that we haven't done, but I'm actually wanting to save one of them for last.
I know which one you're talking about.
So next up, we're going to go with another obscure one that I don't think is going to rank very high. And that is Zorias, the snake chick that you meet in Rykard's mansion in her snake form. Because her human form is wearing like slippers or something. But whenever she goes into a scaly mode, she gets these tiny little things. So, this is Zorias, the snake maiden. She's female. They are bare feet.
Kind of gnarly.
But
because technically, isn't she Rykard's daughter?
She is Rykard's daughter. Oh, well, like adopted, kind of. Like I don't think she is really but she's told that she believes it. So, I mean, she kind of.
I don't know. I mean, it is possible that it could be because I mean, I think Snake or Rykard and Tanith fucked and made that.
All of you are like letting what you feel about the character cloud your vision because we look at it, right? They're not unnecessary, right? They make sense because she's in her snake form. All the snake people have bare feet, everyone, so they're not unnecessary. They're not super high detail. They're not even human, right? They're fairly low poly. You only see them like what, once or twice when you see her in her snake form and then she goes back to human form.
Yep.
So you don't see them very much. It's not like Renala where you can go back and see them over and over, or this chick where you can see them over and over, Fia or anything like that.
D tier then.
But she does have the scaly factor going for her.
She has the scaly factor, like they are unique. I think she has enough going for her to get her out of F tier with Ronnie and get put on the rest of the beast people right here in E tier. But
yeah.
I don't think she has enough to like bust out of that. That's what I'm thinking.
Fucking simps out here, man. Not thinking with you're thinking with your wiener, not your head.
You are like all of you out there right now. You're not humans. You're not men or women. You're flesh mechs piloted by genitalia. You gotta start using your brain.
I mean, it's there. You hear that little rattling sound when you shake your head? It's there.
You gotta stop thinking that. We gotta start thinking with your brain. Get your head out of your heart. Stop with the whole waifu thing. We gotta think about it. She has like the waifu factor. But if that, like I said, if it wasn't enough to bring Ronnie out of F tier, it's not enough to get her out of E tier. I'm willing to go up to E tier. Just because.
They're still feet.
They are still female feet. And they are, you know, put in there when she changes form. And she has the scaly factor. But they're not super high detailed. They're not unnecessary. She's not a big lady. I mean, it doesn't have much going for it. And it looks more like a hand. Like a misshapen hand than a foot.
That's true.
I would say they're even like vestigial. So they would be E tier.
So like, if we were talking about people that I like in-game, like good characters with a good heart, yeah, it should be like right up here. But that's not what we're talking about.
Allison, you keep saying it's not a hand, it's a fucking foot. It's a foot. Look at it. That's a foot. That's not a hand. It looks like a hand, but it's like a talon. It's like the demi-human, or not the demi-human, but the singing woman.
All right, E tier. That's my final. As the one who is hosting this, E tier, solid E tier. Still not as good as like the vampiric women's or even the demi-human queens, but I'd put them on par with these.
So low E tier then.
I would say low E tier. As a matter of fact, the more I look at the vampiric women's, it makes me think of like a Catacan or something from The Witcher 3, one of the vampires from that game. That's what I think of. Every time I look at it, that's what I think of, is the vampires you on The Witcher 3. Doesn't really have any bearing on the foot tier list, but alright, so next up, we're gonna go with a bit of a surprise entry, and that is the player model foot. The most... That's right, this is the female human model feet. It's really high detailed. Not quite so much as Fia.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So this is your own player model foot. I'm thinking from sheer...
I put my feet at F tier.
Well, I bet
no,
you...
they're not yours.
Yeah, it's the players.
Okay, so they're customizable. So
they're customizable. I'll put that up one. They have really high detail, more than any other Souls. You can see them whenever you want. They're high detail. I'm putting that up to D tier.
What else?
What else do they have going for them? They can get dirty.
Yeah.
I think the interactable feature of these, like more so than any of the others, would push it up to C. Definitely good, but not special. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but it still has that customizable factor to it.
You can kick with them.
You can kick with them.
That's true. You can put your other, like, this actually kind of like reverses the roles here. You can be the one that puts the foot on someone else rather than being the receiver of it.
Hmm.
Mm,
I honestly, I feel like that's high C tier just for that right there.
I'm thinking. I'm honestly thinking B tier with Fias because they're almost as detailed as Fias, and you can do so much more with them, like interactive
What? You
wise.
can be Fia.
I mean, you could like there's just so much that you can do with them. Put them on other people, interacting with them. They can be dirty. They can be whatever shape you like. I'm thinking B tier.
Yeah.
Not A tier with the fire giant or the albineric. I'm thinking by virtue of detail and the fact that you can customize them, which is a unique feature. It's sort of like the finger reader. They have a unique feature that bumps them up a little bit. I'm thinking I'm thinking B tier. Thinking B tier. Has cutscenes, that's true. It has as many
Yeah.
cutscenes as you want. Yeah, I'm thinking that just solidifies B tier. It was a weak B tier. I'm thinking that like throws it up over the edge. You can hear the toes hit the floor, so that might bump it to B. Yeah. Yeah, not A tier to me, but I think B tier.
Yep. It's gotta be B.
Yeah. Why is Fire Giant A tier? If you want to find out why we ranked everything the way we did, you're just gonna have to watch the VOD. Whatever this is
Or
like, whenever this is cut up and made into a video, then you can watch it back and see why we did everything.
it may not actually take me that long. All I gotta do is just chop the front off.
Yeah, so B. Now the last one I have intentionally saved for last. Let me make sure it's actually the last one really quick. Let me look. Yeah, because this one I feel is going to be this is going to be really controversial. I I suspect a lot of discourse. That's
Some riots in the fucking chat.
that is Millennia. Millennia. And we have a lot to talk about with this one.
This is a loaded question here.
It really is. So, with Millennia, she definitely has some stuff going for her that other ones don't. Okay, this feels like I'm about to like I'm about to run up a hill with a 50-pound pack on my back, you know? Like I have to like tackle this issue. So for Millennia, this is what I'm thinking. There's a little like here's a little lore for all of you, a little IRL lore from the From Software Studios. Miyazaki was actually told by his development team not to give her bare feet because Western audiences would make fun of him, and he did it anyway. The Mad Lad went ahead and did it anyway. So
He's
that
actually supposed to lose the armor feet too and get actual feet.
yeah, she was supposed to like regen everything, get feedback. So, and all of you salty bitches that couldn't kill her, I'm not gonna pay any attention to all of you. You suck at the games. You crutched your asses through the other games, and you weren't man enough to either beat Millennia with all of your friends or just tough it out solo. You're not men.
Curves, all of you.
Cards is what you are. Millennia, you either beat it with your friends and just suffer through the health regen boogaloo she puts you through like I did, or you man up and you beat her solo by learning her moveset.
I did not learn her moveset. I choose the mimic tier.
I got my friends and we headbutted her for 4 hours till we finally got her. You can't let that cloud your judgment. So anyway, as I was saying, Miyazaki's team telling him that people in the West would make fun of him and him doing it anyway, 2 tiers up. She gets another tier up for being big. She is a lot bigger than the player model. She's a really muscly woman. She gets another one up for being really heavily detailed because she has a lot of detail in the prosthetics.
And
right?
she can land on you with an attack. Puts her feet on you.
She has a kick attack too.
Yeah, she does kick the player. So that puts her up to A tier. I think for waifu factor we'll put her up to S, but I don't think she's gonna stay there. Because I do have a few other things to talk about. She does get a cutscene, which would solidify her at S tier a little bit more. She gets a cutscene that zooms in on them kind of slowly, gives you a really, really close-up view, and they're unnecessary, kind of. Well, not really. I retract that statement because if you think about it, she is literally falling apart because of the Scarlet Rot, so it makes sense. But at that same time, they could have just given her greaves. They didn't have to make him toe-shaped. As a matter of fact, they would probably hold up better and not get worn out so much if they were just greaves, you know?
One solid piece instead of all the intricate parts.
Yeah,
Yeah, that they had to make a compromise somehow with Miyazaki.
yeah.
Because in that meeting, Miyazaki was just looked at that intern, pulled out his fucking his foot, and he just did his business right there.
He literally beat him to death with a foot fleshlight.
But anyway, like I was saying, they are really detailed. It's not really, it's kind of like half and half with the unnecessary effect. Like, yeah, it makes sense she has them, but does it make quite so much sense that they're like individual toes? So she gets a bump up from that. I think the main thing that I'm going to take away from her is that they're not actual feet. I think she would be up here in S tier if it wasn't for the fact that they're not real.
Because if Miyazaki would have got his way.
Yeah, if Miyazaki had gotten his way and she had transformed into regular feet, I think it would have been S tier. I'm looking at like it's the same reason we didn't put Haligtree up. Like Haligtree could have been C tier, but it's a statue. So I'm keeping that in mind with Millennia. And I'm thinking that Millennia is gonna be A for that fact, like just that fact.
She kind of gets she gets too many upping factors that the fake part kind of just kind of washes out.
That's true. Like it's a really, she has so many things going for her, and so very few not like. There's not really any reason not to put her here. You really have to do some mental acrobatics other than just the fact that they're not real. I want to be fair to the Haligtree statue and bump her down for it, but I don't know. She
Unless
has
you want to bump the Haligtree statue up.
Like, I like the Haligtree statue where it's at, though. I don't feel like we should change that ruling for this.
That's true. The feet are fake, and the person's not real that they're attached to. But the feet are fake here. Yeah, that's actually attached to a person. That actually it's sentient. It's there. It's alive rather than just a statue. So I mean, that kind of not the same ordeal. Kind of the same way for Ronnie as well. Because that's
the number
that's
of times I've been kicked with those things.
Also, not gonna pay attention to the chats this time because you guys are far too salty for you to make an accurate reading on this. Us three don't care. Me, Max, and Eat have no emotional stake in the fight with Millennia. You guys got some baby rage going on.
You got some fucking
feelings. We've like taken you guys' opinions and ratings into account for a lot of these, but for this one, I think you guys kind of screwed the pooch whenever I talked about Zarias, and you guys were like, yes, I hear my wife. Oh, yeah. You know, I was like, these guys are gonna. I was like, these guys are gonna lose their minds whenever Millennia comes up, and not in the same way they did for Zarias. It's F tier because it made me feel less of a man.
This is all right. Someone's like, stop letting your penis guide you, but we're being objective here. There's no wiener. There's no wiener thinking.
There is no wiener going with this. Like, if you have listened to what we've talked about, it's all objective. We are rating this based off of what Miyazaki has laid down over the years as the ideal design for foot. And the only thing we can say bad is that they're not real. But they function exactly as if a real one would. Like, it might as well be a real foot. Like, if like they fell off and we saw like her nasty little nugget stump, then yeah. we might take it down a notch, but they don't. They stay attached. They are animated. They're detailed. They're detailed. They have a cutscene going for them. It's a big lady. You guys need to stop being man babies and man the fuck up. And look at this.
Kill the fucking boss.
And look at this objectively. The only thing we can say about it is that they aren't 100% organic and real, but they're exactly the same. And that one little thing that I can take off of this, it's not enough. It's not enough, because even if I took this down to A tier for not being real, I couldn't say anything about it, because then they would say, well, what about the waifu factor? Because a lot of people simp for that character.
That's true.
Anything that we tried to say to bring it to A tier is like thrown right past. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't like this character. I don't like that all they did was like, alright, so we're gonna give it like a Valkyrie design, but then she gets naked. And she has a katana, she has one really big BS thing. I don't like the boss. It's not like this is like my favorite boss of all time, so I'm biased. I hate the boss. I hate Millennia. I think she's a lazily designed boss, she's overhyped. However, that's not what we're here for. We're here to rate the feat.
Objectiveness.
And we're all about being unbiased and objective. So, because, I mean, if like we were going with like our wieners, I would just have Morgot all the way through here.
Morgot.
So today on today's Elden Ring foot tier list, we have Morgot coming in S, A, B, C, D, E, F, and triple S tier. And yeah, see ya.
Make sure you
Rykard at a solid A as well.
Make sure you slap the Morgot button. Hit Morgot. Turn on the Morgot from notifications whenever I upload.
Refuse to accept S tier unless it's phase 2. We're judging both. She has a cutscene. When you walk into the boss fog, you see it immediately, and then when she's in phase 2, it's a complete ass naked lady.
It's still the same feat though.
It's the same feat. Like, you can try and cut me down at the knees with all your pettiness, but I will stand tall, and history will remember me and not you. You're on the wrong side of history, heretic. Yes. That's it for the rating aspect. So we're going to review now. All of you man babies trying to maul in the chat because you got called out by the big bad YouTube streamer man. I hope you sleep good night. You remember this.
Hope you all have a nice Christmas.
Yeah, you guys remember this. So, we got Ronnie at F tier because of her nasty little foot nubs. We have at E several bestial selections, with the demi-human queen mostly rating because of her large size and the detail. We have the celibate dancers outside the mill houses. We have the Latin singing vampire chicks also coming in at E. Zarias with their weird little snake feet, and most of these make it just because they are technically female and they have some detail. That's pretty much it. D tier, these were like the slightly under mid selections, the Halictree mostly making it because of the detail. Same thing with Horlu's daughter and the Finger Maiden making it in here mostly because of the detail and the animations, the weird like monkey grip she has on the staff. C tier was really like the bar, like the standard when stuff started to get real with the Albinauric chicks, the giant dead maiden in Noxtella, Selin. B tier is when it got kind of spicy with Fia with her high detail and the player with the high detail and interactable features. A tier was the large Albinauric sister, mainly because of the absolute like lack of necessity for her to have bare feet or be large. She didn't need to exist, thus she's an A. Fire Giant got it because of the detail, the fact you spend so much time staring at them. He's big, he has a whole cutscene where he like sacrifices his foot to Miyazaki. Rykard got number 1 by pure virtue of size and detail. S. Renala got it from, again, size, detail, big woman. The only actual normal foot on S tier though, curiously, even though they are like these giant flippers.
They have the mass of a small sedan apiece.
Like, her feet are actually the size of the player. Like, that is a whole player model right there. And so she gets up there by way of virtue of all of that. Morgot, again, detail, cutscene, size, he's up there. And Malenia, same thing. She has a cutscene, the detail, big lady, she's up there. She is S tier, strong S tier. She has a few negatives, but not enough to bring her down to A tier. Same thing with Morgot or Rykard. You could say, well, they're male. They surpass that. If there are any males on this list, it's because they blow straight on past that. They were good enough to make it on here. All the boys. Rykard, Morgot, and the Fire Giant. They were all strong enough contestants to completely blow past all these other ones and be S and A tier. That's why they made it. Anyone that doesn't think Malenia belongs at S tier is just molding because of the boss fight, or they feel called out on their skill issues by the Skid Man. Which I can't blame being jealous of me. Pretty awesome. But yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with this list. There are a few that I would have changed a little bit. Like, personally, I think Selins could have been D tier. I don't think they're that special. Halictree statue, I feel, could have been C tier. The vampire chick, I feel, could have been D tier. Yeah. And honestly, I probably could have put Renala at A tier, but just from a pure biased, unwavering point of view, that's what I think. I think S tier.
No, Horaloo does not have bare feet. He has boots. You troglodytes.
Horaloo has boots on, so he does not make it. He has boots and greaves. He doesn't have a cutscene, so Horaloo does not make it. Who was the other one that they wanted? Godric? Yeah, Godric. Godric again doesn't make it because his feet are somehow more mangled than the demi-humans.
Oh, sweet lord.
He doesn't even really have, he has more like stumps that end in like little tiny nub toes. So if Godric had been on here, he would have been probably about F or E. If Horaloo had somehow been on here, he might have been D tier along with his daughter. But you gotta consider, if a male contestant was put on here, it was because of something like the Fire Giant, Rykard, or Morgott. And Horaloos are good, but not that good. So.
Alright. Feel pretty satisfied with our little list we got here.
That's right. And Mog didn't make it because they're really low poly versions of Morgotts, and you don't see them because they're under a dress, so Mog didn't make it.
And he's the schizo.
That's true.
That's true. This is our list, not yours. We make the rules, you don't.
If you guys want to go and like pull all these images yourself, because I will not be making this where you guys can go behind me and change it. I won't be sharing this. I'm not making an account with this website. If you guys want to go find all of these and make it yourself and host like a tiny little foot tier list making of your own with like you and the whole nobody that will watch you, you go ahead and do it. Send me the results of what you think yours is and see how much I care.
Actually, you know what? Send it to us, but we won't. We'll just straight up ignore you. Oh shit! Hold up. That is right. Does Dylan have feet?
The Albineric dudes, they do. Go ahead.
Honorable mention.
Honorable mention. The Albineric guys. We'll put Godric at honorable mention, just because he has a lot of like fucking grafted nasty feet.
I'm sure there's some feet, some legs in there with the arms.
Okay, I'm saying I think Godric goes at D tier. I'm not elaborating further.
And if any of you, so I saw someone's ever going to play Sea of Thieves again. If any of you want to see me play Sea of Thieves, I don't stream on YouTube anymore. This is a special occasion just so all of the Elden Ring fans I have could watch this. I don't stream over here anymore. I stream on Twitch. If you want to find it, you can go to Twitch TV/hardmoisture or check out the link in the description. It's actually got a picture of my face. If any of you have ever been curious as to what I look like, you can find that out. I decided to just go ahead and put a picture of me as the profile picture over there. It's like a fresh start. I mostly stream like For Honor, Destiny 2, Sea of Thieves, Deep Rock Galactic, just chatting, stuff like that. If anyone gets me any games, I'll play them, but we're still pretty new. We've only been doing that for like a week and a half. We got affiliate already though, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's it for this foot tier list. I hope all of you have enjoyed it. I will not be continuing the stream on Twitch like I thought I would. This went for far longer than I thought it would.
Hour and a half of footage I could edit.
That's right.
God damn it.
So yes, there's a Twitch account. Go follow it if you want to see me streaming on other nights. There'll be a video summary of this, and you can see our thought process as we go through the whole stream. It'll be edited and cut down a little bit. And beyond that, there will also be a Centurion video from For Honor. And if you haven't seen anything from me in a while, just look at my video section on my channel. I upload like once or twice a week. I do upload. You probably just haven't seen them. Whew. So yeah, that's it for this stream. If any of you want to talk to me about the Sea of Thieves stuff or anything like that, you can find me in my Discord server or talk to me on Twitch tomorrow. So yeah. That's it for this stream. See y'all.
Peace.
Feet.
Feet.
Big feet.
You know what? I'm not even gonna end the stream. I'm gonna let you like have to sit here on there with that for a second.
I don't give a goddamn, dude.
Yeah, you do. It's like when you're like, I don't fear my mistakes. Yeah, you do. Just trying to save face.
You're a little freak, dude. All right, time for me to drop an N-bomb.
Wait, no.